Hey, it's Dan, and in this video I want to talk to you about how to become a property deal sourcer. Hey, it's Dan, hope you're well today. So let's talk about being a property deal sourcer. We get quite a lot of emails about it actually, and obviously we have our property sourcing training course at 27 quid and we make a sale a day off that. At least a sale a day, and we have done since we released it all the way back 3 or 4 years ago now, almost 4 years ago, back in 2020, just as the pandemic hit. So clearly people want to be a property deal sourcer, and there's kind of this idea that it's a quick route towards making some decent money, and actually to an extent that is kind of true, or it can be. Let me change that, it could be. It not necessarily is, because it's not easy being a property deal sourcer. So out of everybody who buys our training course, and a good proportion of us usually buy a website as well, when we get to the next year for the website to be renewed and we go, do you want to renew it? And they go, nah. And it's because they do the training and then it's hard, right? Being a deal sourcer is hard work, and we need to fix that. And so I guess in this video we're going to talk a little bit about how we can fix some of that for you, and hopefully you'll find this useful. Obviously if you've not bought the training, you 100% need to go buy that training. I'll put the link down below. It's like 27 quid, and it is ram-packed, 95 videos, between 5 and 10 minutes long for each one, so you don't have to sit through like an hour and a half of gumph to get to the bit that you need. So if you're stuck on a particular bit, then you can just go directly to that bit and get that sorted. So where do we begin then with being a deal sourcer? Well, first up, understanding the dynamics of what that actually means. So if you think of a jam sandwich, you've got two pieces of bread and you've got the jam. You are the jam. One investor, one seller, and you're the person in the middle that's going to connect these two people together. That, in a nutshell, is property sourcing. And so then we think about, well, we've got two customers, haven't we? We've got one customer who is the person that needs to sell their property for whatever reason, and then you've got the second customer, and the customer is a person who wants to buy a particular kind of deal. We don't know what that deal might be. It might be they need a high yield property. It might be that they're looking for a refurb. It might be that it has to be a below market value type property. It could be a HMO, it could be a single let, it could be a semi-detached house that's going to be converted into 2 apartments with a large garden at the side for them to sell that off, or to build a house on that kind of corner garden. Like, you don't know what that is until you go out and find some investors. And so, you know, we talk about, well, what do you find first? Do you find the deal, or do you find the investor first? So it's a great question. And so in my mind, the easiest way for us to go and complete on a sale is to find the investor first. Ask them, what do you want? And they'll tell you, well, I want a 2-bed back-to-back house, got to be 25% below market value. Okay. Well, what else do you want? Well, I'm looking for, and usually, by the way, they're not looking for various types of property, they just want a particular type of property. Any 2-bed back-to-back with a 25% off, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for HMOs and houses to convert into flats, usually, right? So you might speak to a different investor and they might go, well, I'm looking for bungalows that I can add a dormer, which is like another bedroom, with a spiral staircase that leads up. So they're turning a 2-bed bungalow into a 3 or 4-bed bungalow. And you know, I knew a guy 20 years ago that did just that, made a lot of money back then doing that. So it could be that that's the type of investor. And if that is the type of investor, they're then not going to also want HMOs and land and all the rest of it. They're just looking for their bread and butter. And everybody's bread and butter deal is different than everybody else's. So your job should be to go and find as many investors. And it's like, well, where do you find investors? So then we're into, well, now you've got to find people who've got a lot of money but not a lot of time. So who are those people? Business owners, doctors possibly, people who are stressed, haven't got a lot of time, hate the rat race, earn a decent amount, drive a nice car, but want something else to generate cash so that they don't have to keep doing the things that they do and never seeing the kids and family. So those sort of people are absolutely ripe. Now, when you go to a networking event, one of the things you'll soon notice about networking events, property networking events, is that unless you're the guy on stage, everybody else has got no money. Like, I know that's controversial a little bit, I get that, I get told off for saying it, but it's true, right? Nobody has any goddamn money. So you're not going to go and find investors normally at a property networking event. You might get lucky, but generally that's not where you're going to find them. That's not where they hang out. If that's where they are hanging out, then they're probably already doing deals and they've already probably got those connections already, okay? So you need to go and find these investors in places where they are, you're not expecting them to be. So property networking events is probably not where you're going to find those. The golf course, the horse races, charity events, all of that kind of thing. So then, now we're finding investors and we're getting into conversations about what they need. And if you want more examples of that, then go buy the bloody training course, right? It's 27 quid. What are you going to lose? If it's bad, it's 27 quid, but it's not bad, it's bloody brilliant. We know that because we keep getting told by our reviews and testimonials. So, now you've got an investor, what about finding deals? Where the heck are you going to find deals? And again, let's just cover some controversial points, shall we? Rightmove. Oh, you can't buy a good deal on Rightmove. Of course you bloody can. Of course you can. If I've got an investor who's looking for a 6-bed HMO, right, with a licence, do those sort of properties go on Rightmove? Might not have a licence, but then you just calculate, you know, there's a 6-bed house, it's 200 grand, it's £600 a room. I'm not doing the maths right now, I don't know if that'll work, but I'm sure it will. 600 quid a room, and it's not got a licence, it's not in an Article 4 area. Article 4 means that you're not allowed to HMO them. But the licence is going to cost, you know, 3 grand for a fire alarm and a fire door system, and 2 grand to bring it back up to spec. I don't know, 4 grand on furniture, let's just say. It's going to cost you an extra 10 grand to bring it up into spec, ready for HMO. So, like, you could go find a deal like that on Rightmove. You could go do that now. Go to Rightmove, go to your goldmine area. What's your goldmine area? Go to the area that you want to invest in and go run some search results on Rightmove or Zoopla or whatever it is that you're going to use. Go find some, is it 4 plus or 5 plus on Rightmove? Go find some of those houses and go and have a look, run the numbers. And then go check the numbers. Go to Easy Roommate or whatever it's called, whatever the latest version is. To go see how much a room's going for in that particular area. So you can do all that. You can do a huge amount of research just sat on a computer. It's kind of one of the things that really confuses me, actually, is it's like, how do people know not to do research? Like, you know, we've got this thing called Google, I'm sure you've heard of it, and then we've got this other thing called YouTube, I'm sure you heard of that. It's actually the same thing. Oh, Dan, how do you do research? Oh, Google it, for God's sake. Like, well, how do I know if there's any 4-bed houses in my area? Rightmove it. What's up with you? Go, that's what the internet's for. So, this stuff is right there. You can sit on your butt and make a lot of money by just sitting on your butt, right? And going doing all this research. Now, it is going to take research. And it's going to take a lot of research. And people don't want to do this work. But, you know, when I was buying in LS9, I would be walking up and down the streets and I'd be going, that's a new property that's come on, that one's been on for ages. I would know it inside out and back to front, and I would know what properties are new, what's overpriced, what's underpriced, what condition is expected, what condition they're in. Like, I knew all this because I spent a lot of time doing the research. And what we find is that people don't want to do this. They go, oh yeah, I'm really committed to property, I'm going to do 10 networking events every single month. And it's like, well, have you done your research? No, I'm not doing that until I find a deal. It's like, well, how are you going to find a deal then? It doesn't even make sense. So you can do an awful lot sat on your butt, which I kind of like, sitting on my butt and doing research, right? But these deals can be found on Rightmove. And, you know, Property Tribes and all these other websites full of freaking losers. Oh, you can't find a deal on Rightmove. No, what you said is you can't find a deal on Rightmove, dickhead. I found plenty, thank you very much, both for myself and for clients. Oh, well, it's not right that you're selling these deals that anyone could find. Yeah, but they didn't find them, did they? And I packaged them up. And I presented them in such a way that enabled the investor to go, God damn, this is a good deal, I'll have that. But thank you very much. Here's for £2,000, here's for £3,000, here's for 500 quid, whatever the fees happen to be. So you can do that. And I'm not saying, by the way, that Rightmove is the only way to find deals. Hell no. There's so many different ways of finding property deals. Leaflet drops, Facebook ads, lineage in the Yorkshire Evening Post. That shit still works, you know. And it amazes me that people, oh, well, I don't know if that'll work. Well, have you tested it? No, but I don't think it'll work. Right, well, test it. Test it. Test it. This is the thing that you have to do. You've got to test all these ideas. And it might not work. That's because you used the wrong words. Change the words, change the wording, change the style of wording. We did all sorts of leaflets. We tested really glossy looking leaflets. We tested leaflets that had really bad spelling mistakes, smiley faces, crossing out. Like that stuff worked. Like, you'd be amazed at a bad leaflet. And it's not about necessarily the leaflet, about it looking professional, about it looking bad. You know, and by the way, both of those style of leaflets will work. It's actually about how often are you dropping leaflets? Well, I've dropped 1,000 leaflets this month. 1,000? What's that going to get you? That's not going to get you anything. So you got to drop more leaflets, for example. Minimum 10,000. Ideally 20, 30, 40,000. That's going to get you into a deal. You've got to be doing it. These are the, you know, when all these people start doing deal sourcing and then they quit, it's because they're doing a half-assed attempt. And I'm not surprised they quit, because they're really not that committed, because they've not made money in month 1 or month 2 or month 3. It can take 6 months, it can take a year to get your first deal. But once you crack open the lid, the flow of deals will come through. And so that's where you've got to be. Anyway, I'm just coming up to my destination now. So I hope that's useful, and I just want to have a little damn rant about deal sourcing. And hopefully we can inspire and motivate some people, and also we can just help some people go, do you know what, this is exactly what I've been looking for, that's what I'm going to go do. Anyway, let me know how it goes, and we'll speak to you on the next video. My name's Dan Latto. Have a good day. Take care.